Hello, you've activated the in-game commentary track. This is Dave Gilbert, the original writer, designer of the Shivah, which actually predates the name Wadjet Games.
Hi, this is Janet Gilbert. I'm married to Dave, and I'm working on the update or the remaster of Shivah for Steam and iOS release with all new snazzy graphics and some bugs fixed.
We decided to do a brand new commentary because a lot of the old commentary was completely irrelevant, was referring to graphics that were not only in the original version of the game, but in the original freeware version of the game, and referring to things that don't even exist anymore. So we decided to do a brand new commentary track. Adon olam asher malach baterem kol yitzir nivra lied nasav cheltso kol atzai melech shemo nikra. Cantor Josh was played by me way back when, and that was a much less jaded, more innocent me that you just heard singing Adon Olam, which is a very common thing to sing on Shabbat.
I think it's a lovely song.
Well, thank you. You're biased. The woman snoring is an old friend of mine named Kim Lee, who was living in Brooklyn at the time. She's now married and living in Seattle, and I haven't been in touch with her in a while. I completely forgot she was in this, and now I can hear her snore. So, I miss you, Kim.
Thank you, Cantor Kaplan. Today in my sermon, I'd like to discuss suffering. Why do bad things happen to good people? Wherever there is pain, or oppression, or poverty, the question is always the same. How could God let this happen? Is God as good as we think? Can He, in fact, do evil? Maybe, on occasion, He even enjoys inflicting pain.
This game marked the first time I ever worked with Abe Goldfarb, and it was also the first time I ever worked with any voice actor at all. And there's a reason why I've kept working with Abe over the years. He, of course, went on to do Joey and Kane and Gemini Rue and Crispin and Primordia and all sorts of different roles in games we've done, is that he just is a natural at it. I mean, I had no experience working with voice actors at the time, and Abe made it so easy. He was just naturally good at doing all this stuff. He's also a very close friend. We've known each other since summer camp when we were like 14, 13 years old. So I'm going to always keep using him. I guess he's kind of become the Nolan North of Wajadai, but I don't care. I like working with him.
No. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Rabbi?
You heard.
Huh? What?
Go home, Mrs. Raymer.
Is it over already?
Yeah.
Rabbi Stone, wait! You can't just stop.
Sure I can. Just watch me.
But
It's over, Josh.
you can't mean that.
Look, you're a good kid. You've got a good voice and a good future. Don't let me hold you back. Now do a mitzvah and call Mrs. Raymer a cab. Goodbye, Josh.
There's a lot of internal monologue and dialogue in this opening scene, and it's funny watching it now because I would never write a scene like this now. I've come to really value brevity in games, getting to the point as soon as possible, but playing this game now, I can't imagine it any other way, really. It fits. It's very much the opening chapter of a detective story. So it kind of works, even though I wouldn't write it this way now.
Services are canceled. Leave me alone. Go away. Leave me alone, I said. I said, go away. I repeat, services are canceled. Fine, I'm coming. I thought I told you to go home.
Rabbi Stone, there's someone here.
Tell him to get lost. There's no service tonight.
No, it's a cop.
Huh?
Detective Sam Durkin, Midtown South Precinct. Could I talk to you for a few minutes, Rabbi Stone?
Ben Chandler worked on the art of this game right in the middle of Blackwell Epiphany production, so we kind of kept the same style. The advantage there is that we got to save a little bit of production time and use the same Sam Durkin sprites that he used in Blackwell Epiphany. So Sam Durkin walking, smoking, it's all in Epiphany. We didn't have to do much there. Or rather, Ben didn't have to do much there.
Is there some sort of problem, officer?
I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
Fine. Josh, take a hike. So, what can I do for you? I assume you're not here to convert.
Are you familiar with a Mr. Jack Lauder?
Should I be?
I'm asking the questions, Rabbi.
Fine. Let me think. Lauder. Oh.
You know him.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about him?
He used to belong to this congregation.
Used to, but not anymore?
No. Left about 8 years ago, I think. What's this about?
Have you had any contact with him since?
No, I haven't. Care to fill me in here?
Do you read the papers?
Who has the time?
So, you're not aware, Rabbi Stone, that Jack Lauder has been dead for 3 days?
No.
Does that bother you?
Should it?
Answer me, Stone.
No.
So, you and Mr. Lauder weren't close?
No, we weren't. What's the deal, Durkin?
I've seen Lauder's will. He left you a significant amount of money.
He left me money? Is this a joke? Are you joking with me, detective?
No, I'm not joking.
How much?
I don't have the exact amount, but somewhere in excess of 10,000.
Bull.
It's the truth.
Jack wouldn't give me bubkiss, let alone $10,000.
And why is that, Rabbi Stone?
He just wouldn't.
Huh. This temple's in pretty sad shape, isn't it, Rabbi?
One of the problems about using new graphics is that I had to rearrange all of the things where characters walked to places, which they do a lot in this scene. They do so much dramatic walking in the scene. They pace left, they pace right, they stare at each other, and yeah, that took a long time, just this scene. Also, the registry scene had a lot of dramatic walking as well. The other scenes were not so bad.
I like to make characters walk for dramatic effect. It's sort of the problem with games like this. You can't really have, dramatic gestures or anything like that. And usually it's, you have them turn around and look awkward, or, step a bit closer and be aggressive or something like that. And I did a lot of that with this game back in the day. And Janet faithfully recreated it when we got all the new graphics.
Well, not totally faithfully. Some of it is a bit of artistic impression. Close enough.
Well, you're not blind, that's for sure.
Can you afford the repairs?
Do I look like I can afford it?
I'm just asking.
Oh, you're just asking? Well, I'm going to ask you to leave. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Rabbi Stone,
Get out of my office.
listen.
No, you listen. I know where this is going, and I don't like it.
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, you're a real mensch. Get out of here.
Fine. I'll leave, Rabbi Stone. But I'll be back.
Yeah, I bet you will. putts. I need to think. Has it really been 30 years?
This is the second game I ported to iOS for Wadget Eye now. The previous one was Gemini Rue, and it was a rather different experience. For a start, this game is much shorter, so it takes less time to test. But that's just laziness issue. Secondly, Gemini Rue focused on environment puzzles, so I was forever having to enlarge environment items so that you could tap on them, because they were so teeny tiny. But Shivah doesn't really have any small things you have to click on. It's all about interaction puzzles. It's all about people issues, about understanding people, mostly hacking into their email accounts.
As you do in life.
So I had to redesign the computer interfaces quite heavily to make them big enough to work on. And I didn't want to use the built-in iOS keyboard because it was a bit quirky, didn't really work too great in Gemini Rue, so I made a new keyboard styled to fit the computer interface. So I guess that says something about the different games. That Shivah is more about people, and Gemini Rue is about the environment.
Way back when the original game was first launched, it was kind of buoyed by this website called Manifesto Games, and they were kind of acted as an unofficial publisher. Manifesto is sadly no longer around, but they told me a funny story is that they got a complaint from a Rabbi Stone who had a synagogue on the Lower East Side. Which I found kind of funny. I offered to, send him a free copy of the game, but they decided not to pursue it any further. I just thought that was very funny. I wish I could have met the guy.
Wow, Rabbi, what was that all about?
Didn't I tell you to go home?
Come on, Rabbi, I have to know. Who was killed?
Josh, what did I tell you about listening at my door?
I wasn't, Rabbi, honest. You were just very loud.
Huh.
So who was killed? Was it that Lauder guy?
Do you think so?
Yeah. Who else could it be? I heard you talking about him.
Huh. We must have talked very loud.
Well, yeah. So who is he?
An old member of this congregation.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us.
Are you gonna pay a Shivah call?
I don't think there will be a Shivah, Josh.
Why?
Shivas are for Jewish families. Just forget it.
Alright, if that's what you want. I guess I'll go now.
Yeah. Good night, Cantor.
Night, Rabbi.
Has God answered my prayers?
When I was first working on this game, I told my mother about it, and her reaction was, "What do you know about rabbis?" And it's funny playing this game now, because knowing a little bit more about how synagogues work and everything, really, the rabbi would not have this much power and control over how the synagogue works. Usually it's just the opposite. There's typically a board and members of the board, and they decide what happens. They decide where money is spent. So the fact that the rabbi wants to close the temple down, that would never happen in actual real life.
I don't like it. Not one bit. Why, Jack? Why me? Why now? A Shivah call. I can't just barge in unannounced, but I can pay a Shivah call. It's the only way.
It's funny how I kind of created Rabbi Stone as this hard-bitten noir detective hero type. At the time, I remember wanting to create a detective who really had a strong motivation for going on a case. Usually the detective solves a case or tries to solve a case because it's his or her job. But I remember going into this wanting to give the detective a real reason for going on a case, and the best way to do that was to make a detective who wasn't a detective. So I kind of took Rabbi Stone and applied all of the typical noir, hard-bitten detective tropes onto him. But he's a rabbi, so that kind of makes it a little more interesting.